Gunmen kill 11 in the border communities of Taraba, Benue. Reactions continue to trail corruption allegations leveled against former Kaduna Governor Nasiru El-Rufai. NDLEA intercepts codeine shipments from India, US and UK-bound opioids in ladies' hair. And on the international scene, hundreds rally in Ghana over power outages. A very good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. And on to the news in detail. Coordinated attacks by unknown gunmen on border villages between Taraba and Benue states have left 11 people dead, with houses burned and property worth millions of naira destroyed. The violence occurred in Wukari local government area of Taraba state. Sources report that the gunmen invaded Apirgwa, a village bordering Benue state, and Deke, a community about 3 kilometers from Wukari to Kente, early Monday morning around 5 a.m. The attackers began shooting sporadically, killing 8 people in Apirgwa and 2 in Deke. Another victim was killed on Rafinka Road in Wukari. Aondoase Tarushi, chairman of the Wukari local government area branch of the TIF Cultural and Social Association, identified the victims and described the aftermath of the attacks. The bodies of the victims in Apirgwa and Deke were recovered and buried, while the body of the young man killed on Rafinka Road has yet to be found. The attack on Apirgwa was reported to military officers who visited the scene and instructed the bereaved to bury the victims. The State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Gambo Kwache, confirmed the attacks but reported only 2 deaths. Reverend Father Gabriel Uke, the presiding priest of St. Thomas Parish in Zamandabo Community, Zango Kataf, local government area of Kaduna State. The abduction occurred at the parish rectory in the early hours of Sunday. The Vicar General, Reverend Father Emmanuel Kaza, disclosed this in a press statement on Sunday. He called for fervent prayers for the priest's safe release and condemned the frequent kidnappings in the area. He urged the community to refrain from taking the law into their own hands, promising that all legitimate means would be used to secure the priest's safe return. And still in security, troops of Operation Weap0ns have killed 5 bandits in the Entaro area of Kajuru, local government of Kaduna State. The soldiers encountered the bandits during a patrol in Kachia Kajuru area. Samuel Aruan, the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, disclosed the incident on Sunday. He reported that scores of bandits sustained fatal injuries in a gun drill with the troops. Aruan warned locals against providing medical support to suspicious individuals without notifying security agencies. The troops recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, a locally fabricated submachine gun, 9 AK-47 magazines, 250 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, 2 motorcycles and 2 handheld radio sets. The air component of Operation Weap0ns also targeted bandits' camps in the Sabon-Birindaji area of Igabi local government area. And still on security, troops of Operation Udoka neutralized 6 terrorists during a raid on the camp of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed wing, the Eastern Security Network, the ESN, in Igboro Forest, Arochukwu local government area of Abia State on Saturday. The Nigerian Army announced the operation on its X handle on Sunday, citing it was aimed at apprehending those responsible for last week's attack on its troops in Aba. During the intelligence-led operation, troops encountered improvised explosive devices along their advance, resulting in 1 soldier sustaining minor injuries. The troops recovered 3 locally fabricated rocket-propelled grenade launchers, 2 locally fabricated artillery guns with tripods and bombs, Dane guns, Biafran flags, and 2 vehicles which were destroyed on site. This raid follows an attack last week where 6 soldiers were killed by IPOB ESN members at Obikabia Junction checkpoint in Obingwa local government area near Abia. The attackers arrived in 3 tinted Toyota Prado SUVs and other vehicles from nearby built-up areas. 6 civilians were also killed in the crossfire between the terrorists and the troops. In response to the soldiers' deaths, Major General Edward Buba, the military spokesperson, vowed a brutal retaliation against the attackers. And elsewhere, the family of 13-year-old Wisdom Hashimu from Ungwanme-Gero community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State is demanding justice after his alleged brutalization by a soldier and civilian joint task force members led to his suicide. Wisdom, living with his parents on Lafia Serki Street, was accused of stealing 10,000 naira from a neighbor on June 1st, 2024. He was reportedly tortured by a soldier, Shegun Samson, and civilian JTF members after being falsely accused by a 16-year-old neighbor, Hope. Instead of reporting to the police, Samson took Wisdom and Hope's brother to the civilian JTF's office, where Wisdom was beaten severely. Unable to walk, Wisdom returned home after medical treatment on June 6, 2024. His lifeless body was found hanging in their compound. The Kaduna State Police Command has launched a full investigation into the incident to ensure justice is served. And days after the indictment of the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, by the Kaduna State House of Assembly over allegations of siphoning over 400 billion naira while in power, legal practitioners, civil society members and other residents have continued to express their views on the investigation conducted by the State Assembly that led to the findings. Trust TV's Bello Musa spoke to experts in Kaduna who described the process as exercising the constitutional rights of the State Assembly. Here's the report.
The findings of the alleged siphoning of over 400 billion naira by the El-Rufai administration were carried out by the ad hoc committee constituted by the Kaduna State House of Assembly upon complaints made by the governor. The indictment of the former governor by the committee remains a subject of discussion in the state.
Within the last 8 years, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai just got a loan of $350 million. But are you not surprised when the committee brings up that over $700 million were taken as loan, and some of this loan never followed due process?
And those in government now, having done this to their predecessor, so they will be very, very careful so that they will not do anything with recklessness that will necessitate the government that will come after them to begin to investigate them and also put them in this same process. So I'm sure it's going to send a very strong signal to everybody in government.
As the matter is referred to the EFCC for thorough investigation, they stated that it is to ensure that due process, as provided by the law, is followed.
In order to harness this result we just got, we need to do more. We must stand up. The civil society organizations, the citizens within the states should stand up to make sure that this report was not just archived in government shelf.
And the civil society have to be vigilant, they have to be watchful, they have to monitor and also put pressure where necessary so that anybody indicted and the case that the EFCC is going to begin to investigate and the prosecution process should also be followed so that we will not find ourselves at certain point EFCC being distracted or political interferences and what have you.
Under the law, if you create an administrative panel or an ad hoc committee like the one that the House of Assembly constituted, or even a court of law cannot go ahead to say that it has found somebody guilty of an offense when it has not had him. Of course, some officials of government were called, they attended, but the principal actor was the former governor. He was not invited to the panel.
Abubakar cited fundamental flaws in the process conducted by the House of Assembly.
Probably, those who did not appear before the panel will stop the indictment in court because they were not heard. I believe that they will go to court. I believe that they will stop the indictment because the indictment has a flaw which is fundamental. Although I'm not speaking for them, but I see that that fundamental flaw is so great, and I think it is inexcusable by the House of Assembly to have committed that flaw. I believe that the EFCC will still have another day before the invitation.
People from within and outside the state are monitoring the event for a logical conclusion to the matter. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And traders at the popular NTA Motor Park on Yakubu Gowon Way in Jos South local government area, Plateau State, have criticized the state government's decision to relocate the market to another park in Bukuru, Jos South local government area. The state government sealed the NTA park on Wednesday, a move that park authorities claim was made without prior notification. Trust TV's Adu Musa completes the report.
Traders at the popular NTA Motor Park on Yakubu Gowon Way in Jos South local government area of Plateau State have criticized the state government's decision to relocate the park to another area in Bukuru, Jos South local government area. The state government sealed the NTA park on Wednesday, a move that park authority claim was made without prior notification. The closure has caused confusion among hundreds of traders who have conducted business there for years. Many expressed concerns to Trust TV that the relocation would devastate their livelihoods, as they have no alternative locations to continue their operations. Please, government should help us. We have no other place to go again. We know we cannot confront the government, but please, the government should consider our plight so that we can get what we will feed our family with. Government should allow us to continue doing our business here. I don't have anybody to help. This is where I transact business and feed my family. We have been living peacefully in this area. We are pleading with the government. Some travelers also share their opinions on the matter. Been using this park for more than 20 years. This is the park we always come whenever we want to travel. Government should please allow us and find a workable solution. Don't know why the park is safe. This is where we enter vehicles to wherever we are traveling. We so much enjoy traveling through this park because their drivers are very courteous. Government should please look into it. Although the NTA park has already been sealed since, traders and passengers are still calling on the government not to relocate the park. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And scores of residents, particularly youths in Ondo State, have protested the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission sting operation at several nightclubs in Akure, the state capital. The EFCC raided popular spots like Alba Real Club and Signatures Club in Alagbaka, arresting a groom-to-be and his friends during a bachelor party and confiscating mobile phones and vehicles. In response, the EFCC's Ibadan Zonal Directorate claimed to have arrested 127 suspected internet fraudsters during an early morning sting operation at a Yahoo party held simultaneously at the clubs. EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale stated that the party was originally scheduled for June 5th but was moved to June 8th to evade security and intelligence networks. The EFCC's actions sparked protests from residents who decried the raids as illegal and unacceptable. Olawale Odeyemi condemned the midnight raids and assaults on youth, while youth advocate Oluyemi Fashire described the invasion as an abuse of citizens' rights. Protester Ewatomilola Emiola criticized the raids for defying the EFCC's ban on night operations and demanded the unconditional release of those arrested. The prevalent economic hardships in Nigeria has triggered a multitude of crises across society from both an economic and social standpoint. Recently, domestic and gender-based violence have surged, exacerbated by economic hardships following the removal of the fuel subsidy. Experts emphasize that urgent action is needed to address and reduce these rising incidents. Trust TV's Jimmy Atzande brings us more.
According to a 2019 survey by the Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics, 30% of Nigerian women aged 15 to 49 have experienced physical violence, and a staggering 68% have encountered emotional, economic, or sexual abuse. These figures highlight the link between the surge in abuse and Nigeria's current economic climate. Benue residents report that much of this crisis stems from the pressure on the breadwinners, mostly men, who are also vulnerable to the economic challenges. The high cost of goods and services, coupled with meager wages and limited financial resources, are early warning signs of broken homes.
All she wanted, that he must go out there and get something. And where is he getting it from? Today we find ourselves in society that even the ones that are educated, they are earning salary. Is the salary enough to take care of their families? This is issue of feeding. The health matter is there. Education is there, which is key for our children.
Some are not in charge of their homes because they have refused to speak out the ills. Domestic violence begins from your silence. You need to speak out. There are cases even in Benue, across the states, where women have been violated on several occasions and they have kept quiet. And by the time they have the mention of this, is usually too late. Women should stop coming up when it is rather too late.
In light of this, there are universal laws guiding the conduct of men and women that must be applied. Legal experts emphasize that ignorance of the law is never an excuse.
Now, other countries have gone ahead to, as a matter of fact, legislate or put in place legal framework that demystify all forms of barriers against women. And I think that is what we need as a country.
Cases of divorce are mounting in courtrooms as many families struggle to maintain their previous standard of living, and spouses find it tough to adapt to the current economic realities. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
On the All Progressives Congress, candidates have won all chairmanship and councillorship seats in the local government elections held on June 8, 2024. The announcement was made by Mamman Mohammed, chairman of the Yobe State Independent Electoral Commission, at the commission's headquarters in Damaturu on Sunday. Dr. Mohammed confirmed that the APC secured all 17 local government chairmanship seats and 178 councillorship seats. He praised the electorate for ensuring the elections were free and peaceful. He added that the commission has received, considered, validated and adopted the results of each of the 178 councillorship wards. And former Nigerian President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan emphasized the need to strengthen the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to ensure credible elections during the inauguration of the Asaba High Court complex. Jonathan highlighted that conducting free and fair elections would reduce post-election litigations, saving both time and resources. He emphasized that timely settlement of electoral disputes would enable elected officials to focus on governance, promptly delivering the dividends of democracy to the people. Drawing from the South African experience, Jonathan pointed out that it is uncommon for election losers to resort to litigation, indicating a level of trust in the electoral process. He urged Nigeria to emulate such practices to enhance the integrity of its electoral system.
Why should it happen that way? The judiciary will help us. But my thing is that 50% of those who go to court because they felt they were cheated by the electoral management system. They were rigged out. And when you feel like it, naturally you have to go to court. So assuming the elections are properly conducted, that 50% will not go to court. The next 50% that go to court is that they know they failed the election, but they feel they can use the judiciary to declare them winners. So if the judiciary don't declare who don't win election that they are winners, that remaining 50% will not go to court.
You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Brown prices spike amid economic downturn and low patronage. This and of course more stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust TV. Now recap of our top stories again. Gunmen killed 11 in the border communities of Taraba, Benue. And reactions continue to trail corruption allegations leveled against former Kaduna Governor Nasiru El-Rufai. Moving on to other stories now. Cattle breeders in southern Nigeria have rejected a bill proposing ranching as the sole method for cattle breeding in the country. Breeders in Ondo State emphasized that they have no other place of origin besides Ondo, a sentiment echoed by many herders living in the southwest who have resided there with their families for decades. The breeders argued that ranching should not be mandated as the only viable alternative, highlighting the deep-rooted connections to their current locations. Trust TV's Abbas Ibrahim Alibi now reports.
The National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission Establishment Bill passed its second reading in the Senate on June 5, following an intense debate. The bill aims to establish ranches for herders in their state of origin, replacing the current practice of open grazing. Reacting to the bill, Fulani herders in Ondo State expressed strong opposition, arguing that they have no other place of origin apart from Ondo. They believe the bill infringes on their right to live where they choose within the country. Bello Garba, leader of the Meyeti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in Ondo State, stated that the bill will traumatize cattle breeders. He explained that many herders living in the south have resided there for so long that they no longer know their origins in the north.
Wani bahilla ce yanzu akwai wanda yake a halin da muke ciki bai san ina ne ma jahan shi na tushe na ainihin inda yake.
He said many of the cattle breeders were born and raised in the south, and the largest number of breeders are living in the south these days due to the insecurity in most parts of the north.
Saboda yau bahilla ce mai nagge sama da nagge 200 ba za ka same shi a jihohin arewacin Najeriya ba. Also,
the chairman of Meyeti Allah Cattle Hore in Ondo State, Abdullahi Muhammad, disclosed that he and many other Fulani cattle breeders were born and brought up in Southwest, and if they were asked to go back to their state of origin, they don't know where to go.
Mu yanda muke nan kudu, in an ce za a mai da mu jihar mu, to mafi yawancin mu ba ma wanda ya san jihar shi ainihi inda za a kai shi din.
Our wishes and hope is for the bill not to become a law, as it is in violation of our rights as Nigerians. Myself and my children, and even my grandchildren, were born and brought up in Ondo. So, where do you expect me to live other than Ondo? Dauda Alejolowo is a Yoruba man from Osun State who was born and raised in Ondo State and is in business of cattle trading, opposed the bill seeking to relocate the Fulani cattle breeders to their state of origin.
What I want to say on this, you know, being a senator, you may not expose. You are really exposed traveling here and there from one country to another. You will not come back to your home and starting launching something like tribalism. I'm not supporting it. We that we are living in this Ondo state, Hausa, Fulani, Shua, or whatever, nobody of us praying that we should live this Ondo state. If you have any Hausa or Shua man that is living here and you starting telling that where are you going back to Maiduguri, he will tell you that this is my home. We are living peacefully in Ondo state.
Open grazing has been a hot topic in Nigeria as a result of frequent farmer herders clashes, which have led to the killings of many and displacement across many parts of the country. This new legislation has received both commendation and condemnation. From Akure, Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV.
As the Eid al-Kabir celebration approaches, the prices of rams in Jigawa state have skyrocketed, leaving many Muslims in the state worried about how to afford the sacrificial animals. According to Ali Rabiu, the price of rams in the Dutse animal market has surged to as high as 250,000 naira. His report is presented from our studio.
A ram seller at Dutse temporary animals market, Shafiu Hamisu, noted that rams are scarcer this year in Jigawa state, contributing to the high prices compared to last year. He stated that the prices of rams have increased significantly, with large rams now selling for between 200,000 and 250,000 naira, up from less than 120,000 naira in 2023. Medium and small rams have also seen significant price hikes, now going for between 80,000 naira and 150,000 naira, compared to 60,000 naira and 70,000 naira in previous years.
The price of rams is currently stable. The cost of rams is directly related to the cost of their food. When food prices are high, ram prices tend to increase, and when food prices drop, ram prices decrease. Currently, ram prices vary, with some selling for as low as 150,000 naira, while others cost 200,000 naira or more.
Sani Muhammad Bashir, a buyer at Dutse temporary ram market, said he will manage to buy a ram despite the high price. He urged the government to address the plight of the masses.
I am here to purchase a ram for the upcoming Salah celebrations. However, I am finding that the prices of rams are higher than expected and have increased significantly recently. I urge the government to address this hardship as people are truly suffering. The high cost of rams is causing difficulties for many, and I hope the authorities will take steps to alleviate this burden.
The price increase has been attributed to the scarcity of rams in the state, caused by a combination of factors, including the removal of fuel subsidies and currency depreciation. Many Muslim faithful in Jigawa state have expressed concern over the high prices of rams, which they say makes it difficult to celebrate Eid al-Kabir festival as they would like to. Despite the challenges, many residents of Jigawa state are still looking forward to celebrating the Eid al-Kabir festival, an important religious tradition.
Residents of the Lekki area in Lagos are frustrated by high charges for cash transactions by point-of-sale operators, with most bank automated teller machines in the area frequently out of service, particularly on weekends. Residents face fees as high as 200 naira for 5,000 naira withdrawals. Victoria Tokolo reports from Lekki, speaking with POS operators to uncover more about the issue.
Cash transaction charges in Lekki area of Lagos State have surged, with point-of-sale operators now charging 200 naira for a 5,000 naira withdrawal and 300 naira for a 10,000 naira withdrawal. POS operators explained the additional 100 naira charge for a 5,000 naira transaction, citing difficulties in obtaining cash in the area. This report highlights their challenges amidst frequent ATM outages, particularly on weekends.
I actually don't go to the bank because if I go to the bank, just part of wasting of time. So I do buy cash from the market. So due to the buying of cash, I normally charge like 5,000 naira is 200 naira, 10,000 is 300 naira. So if you are going to the bank to get cash, if bank is giving you cash, maybe it should be like 50,000, less than 50,000 or 100,000.
There's a fixed amount you can get on weekends that they put on because weekends is always for rest and all of that. So most times in Lekki here, they don't. Most ATM don't dispense cash, much cash.
I used to charge 5,200, 10,000, 300. Because to get cash for me, like, it's not easy. I used to buy cash, like 100,000. What is 1,000?
However, it is observed that most bank automated teller machines in Lekki do not dispense cash during the weekends, and those that do only dispense to their own customers. Other residents of the area also expressed concerns over the low cash flow.
Here in Lekki, banks are not much, unlike that of mainland or VI. Yeah, VI, that's the masterpiece of all. But the transportation here, for me to going to VI is very cost. In the money, they could be charging 600, 700 just VI here, either by civic center or by law school. If you ask, they'll say you should go and meet those that are selling fuel.
They do it on weekends, but it depends the amount that you want to collect. You can collect an amount. If it is bank, you collect an amount you want to collect. But if it's POS, at least POS here, some charge 100 naira, some charge 5,200 naira.
Lekki area of Lagos State has only a few banks, making it quite difficult to obtain cash directly from banks. As a result of this, majority of the residents rely majorly on point-of-sale operators for their cash transactions. They, however, urge the Central Bank of Nigeria to deposit more cash into banks in the area to help expedite business operations, as the unavailability of cash in banks is slowing down their businesses.
Still watching the news hour on Trust TV. More news after this break. See you on the other side. Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust TV. Now to more news. Following the recent discovery of teenage Nigerian girls trafficked to Ghana for the purpose of prostitution, mothers in Imo State have come out to condemn the disturbing trend. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise has the details in this report.
Though the girls have been rescued and are now in safe hands at the Nigeria Embassy in Ghana, courtesy of the Diaspora Ministry, led by Abike Dabiri Erewa, who said they are expected to be ferried back to Nigeria in no distant time.
That's one Nigerian guy. Yes, I've brought these ladies there, maltreating them, beat them, send them for prostitution and other things. So we prostitution? Yes. So we sent our rescue team to go for the girls. So when they went there this morning, fortunately they were able to get all of them from the guy, and we was able to apprehend the guy who was arrested.
Parents, especially mothers who brought their minds on the matter, discouraged the act. They urge parents to be vigilant and pay keen attention to their children and never be carried away by any promise of a better life outside the shores of Nigeria, which they are not sure of.
You shouldn't allow anybody to come and tell you that I want to take your child to somewhere where she will make money for you. Once they are saying that kind of thing, please just reject it and tell them that you don't want.
I know the country is very hard and it's not really easy now. Things are really happening, but that does not give you a license for you to just release your child just like that to people.
My advice is that if you have a female child, make sure that you train that child by yourselves.
Speaking further, the mothers reiterated their call on the state and federal governments to provide better living conditions for Nigerians to mitigate the dangerous trend.
The government too is that they should try hard to provide jobs for the people so that the world, the Nigeria will be a place of safety and love. We can come together and make it a better place.
Well, I would advise the government to provide jobs for those upcoming girls like 15, 16 years. Government should help us and provide jobs for them.
While they blamed the parents of the teenage girls for the negligence, they said the bulk of the blame is on the leadership of the country, who failed to provide the actual dividends of democracy, a scenario that has made most youths lose hope in their motherland and are all in a haste to flee out of the country following the prevailing hardship. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Thanks to Ajibadi Praise for that report. And moving on, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, has intercepted a consignment of 175,000 bottles of codeine-based syrup imported from India. The seizure follows a similar operation just a week prior when the agency seized another 175,000 bottles of codeine-based syrup at the Port Harcourt Ports Complex in One, Rivers State. According to NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi, the latest seizure of 875 cartons weighing 26,250 kilograms was made on June 7, 2024 during a joint examination with the Customs Service and other security agencies. Additionally, on June 5th, NDLEA officers intercepted 5 parcels of illicit drugs concealed in ladies' clothes and synthetic hair destined for the United States and United Kingdom. The drugs included 620 ampoules of pentazocine injection, promethazine, and other opioids seized at a courier firm in Lagos. In another operation, NDLEA operatives in Kebbi State arrested a 32-year-old Nigerian, Hassan Mumini, on June 8th along the Kalgo Birnin Kebbi Road with 4,000 pills of diazepam and 1.2 kilograms of cannabis concealed in pesticide tanks.
Remove it. Move it.
And to business news, Nigeria's foreign trade statistics report for the first quarter of 2024 has revealed a significant trade surplus of 6.52 trillion naira. The amount represents a significant recovery from the 1.41 trillion naira trade deficit recorded in the fourth quarter of 2023 and the 927.2 billion naira in the same period of 2023. The trade surplus recorded for quarter 1 2024 is a record high according to data dating back to 2009. The closest was 5.74 trillion recorded in quarter 4 of 2011. The report published by the National Bureau of Statistics highlights an impressive economic performance driven by a substantial increase in exports. And Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve has shown a steady increase over the past 6 days, indicating a recovery process for the economy's external reserve. According to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria's website on Sunday, the foreign reserve stood at $32.80 billion on June 6, 2024, indicating an increase of $110 million from $32.69 billion on May 31st. This upward trend has been consistent over the past 6 days after a 10-week dip of $1.8 billion. Economists say the steady increase in the foreign reserve is a welcome development for the Nigerian economy, which has faced challenges in recent times. You're watching Trust News Hour. We'll go on yet another break and continue right after. Thanks for staying with the News Hour on Trust TV. Now away from Nigeria, Ghana's capital, Accra, was rocked by a massive demonstration on Saturday as civil society groups took to the streets to demand an end to chronic power shortages in the country. Time to start to at dusk, the time when several neighborhoods of the capital go dark due to electricity cuts. The rally momentarily brought vehicular traffic to a standstill along the typical busy Medina Road. Led by actress Yvonne Nelson, the coalition of civil society groups, entertainers and business owners took to the streets to pressure the government into finding a lasting solution to the energy crisis.
I feel this government and the leaders now are arrogant. They need to be transparent. We need to know what exactly is going on. And we're hoping that this will serve as some pressure for the government to, bring our lives back on.
Light is no more luxury. It's a necessity. We don't even care how much taxes you put on it. We want the light, period.
The economic condition is such harsh that people couldn't even transport themselves to this place. But we don't have our hearts to them. It's about people who are suffering. It's about businesses who are suffering. It's about businessmen who are losing millions of Ghana cedis because the government is incompetent in not putting our lights on.
And there you have it. Moving on, international condemnation has mounted following the Israeli killing of at least 274 Palestinians during an operation to free 4 Israeli captives in central Gaza's Nuseirat refugee camp. Authorities in the Gaza Strip reported that at least 698 others were injured in what they described as an unprecedented brutal attack, with hospitals struggling to cope with the influx of wounded and dead bodies. Civil defense crews are still uncovering dead and wounded Palestinians from the rubble in the aftermath of the Nuseirat attack, while more airstrikes continue to target areas across the enclave. Gaza's Ministry of Health stated that since October 7, Israel's military offensive has killed at least 37,084 Palestinians and wounded 84,494 others. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa announced that the Palestinian Authority is seeking an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council to address the Nuseirat attack. And over to sports news as Nigeria gears up for the World Table Tennis Contender Lagos 2024. Anticipation is soaring for a spectacular display of table tennis prowess set to take place from June 19th to 23rd at the Sir Molade Okoya Thomas Indoor Sports Hall. The event promises to showcase the best of both local and international talents, captivating fans and spotlighting the nation's rising stars. Nigeria stars Muiz Adegoke and Abdul Basit Abdul Fatai lead the charge as the nation's representatives. Both players making their main draw debuts are expected to shine as they compete against top global talent. Among the international stars, Manika Batra, fresh from her historic run at the Saudi Smash 2024, headlines the women's singles draw. Joining her are fellow Indians Aika Mukherjee and Dia Parag Shitali, alongside Jenny Shao and a host of other world-class athletes, promising a week of thrilling table tennis action. Host wildcards have also been granted in men's singles, qualifying with Yaroslav Jemedenko and Mehdi Bulusa prepped and ready. And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim, and on behalf of the crew, have a good night.